one thing was for sure. They both believe Sparks to be a total tool.
Be an exciting contest which shows that divorced couples can still have fun together, right?
Mythological hero H-list. C. On the spot dice spin.
We are experiencing technical difficulties. Please stand by.
And good evening, everybody. It's me, Cindy Settleman, once again here for Game Show Garbage. We have another yearly checkup. That's why we are in the GSG ward, looking at all of the healthy and vibrant shows that are on TV right now, coast to coast. And joining me right here is the Pulitzer Prize winner herself, Jessica Brand.
Hello, everybody.
Mhm.
I would like to think I can match those sentiments, but, you know, I kind of have a square. I don't really have a circle or a triangle. So, we'll see.
Right. Well, I don't think the show uses the circles and the triangles anymore, but we do have these stars.
Yeah, we got stars. I mean, that's certainly a good start, so long as we got 6 of them, and we do.
Mhm.
I mean, things really don't change. I mean, names and faces do, contestants do, hosts do, but at its core, you have Max Game, which is, you know, still good quality. You still have Alec Baldwin doing what he's doing. You have provocative answers, and that's, you know, that's always welcome. I mean, I maintain more shows should do it. And, I mean, the show really is staying stationary. And in this case, that's not a bad thing. The rating seems to still support it, basically. And you're still getting some laugh-out moments. You're still getting those curdle answers, or was that really just said? And that's kind of what you want. I mean, it's a good show.
I totally agree. It looks healthy. I always kind of wonder if I was wondering if Alec Baldwin was just putting on an act as a game show host, but after watching some of the interviews that he does on Buzzer, when they had that big match game time travel marathon sort of thing where they actually replayed quite a few Baldwin episodes from season 1. No, he's actually like that. That is Alec Baldwin. He is a snarky bastard.
It is, yeah. And that's what I like, though. Because let's be honest, I mean, and more than just the fact of, perhaps, you know, old time's sake, which, you know, can have relevance, like, let's be honest, that's one thing I think they should improve upon, perhaps, like, arrangement of celebrities. But Gene Rayburn has certainly some in-host personality to snarkiness and parallels to Alec Baldwin as it stands. And that's a good thing. Because, you know, you can have all these celebrities with their wit, but you know what? Someone has to be the referee to calm them down or be their teacher and parent. Someone's got to get on them a little bit about what they're saying. And Baldwin does that very well. And at the same time, he plays well off them. It's kind of like a parallel role, I guess, to what you see with Bradley Walsh in The Chasers, really, in The Chase. Except obviously it's a lot more lighthearted. But, you know, it's a similar enforcer role. And it's a hard line to balance, but it's certainly done very well by Baldwin, I think.
Yeah, it's also the same sort of mentality that we see on Celebrity Family Feud with Steve Harvey.
Yeah, that's a very good comparison because again, you're managing celebrities, but you also have to play off them as well because you can't be too harsh and you can't be too light because they'll trample all over you, and if you trample all over them, well, so shall be your career. Really, they're the stars, not.
Exactly, and that's what we kind of saw on the MG2 pilot, which was just uploaded.
Yeah, that was true in quite a bit of scenery. I mean, that had some strong points. It certainly had a lot of weak points, but it shows you what a contrast can really exist and why it takes someone very unique to run a show like Max Game. Because let's be honest, Max Game is a panel show at its core, and it's disguised as a game show, which is perfectly fine. But it means what you need is going to vastly different.
Mm-hmm. If you take a look at all the hosts of Match Game that we have seen, you know, all of them that actually did make it air had some command of the panel. Gene definitely had it. Ross Schaefer, I think, had it more than people give him credit for. Michael Berger definitely, he held his own trying to wrangle in the likes of Judy Tenuta and Nell Carter.
Yeah. And that really is, I think, I agree. I think they've all had that, and I think because they've had that, the respect goes both ways, and it's obviously not said, it's not hinted at, but it's certainly something like an intangible element that you can put on these hosts, really, and it's
Mhm.
certainly an it factor that Baldwin has, and it's great.
Oh yeah. Now they didn't change the format whatsoever, which is good.
Yeah, they haven't really needed to. I mean, not really much has changed in their marketplace. The only thing that they really probably should change is if you can do it, I would still make it even more down the rabbit hole of how dark can you go, how risque can you go, because surprisingly, with ABC that it's on, and with I'm just surprised the original match game got, and it doesn't have to be the original, but this would be a good thing for the show in general. The original got so much provocation. It was so loaded with innuendos that it was discussed by the public because of how lewd it was, and it brought attention. And people were like, "Oh my goodness, you can't say that on television." But and there are still things that you can still definitely say that about TV now. But I don't think they approach that wall, but they don't bust through it. And I think they could use some of that publicity to go, a little bit more outside of their bubble. And I know they could do it. They have a tremendous writing staff. I would love to see them do that. That's one thing I would improve upon.
Hmm.
Maybe the Celebrity Order too, and not just because it was the '70s, but there's a reason um, that Charles Nelson Riley and Brett Summers were seated next to each other. There's chemistry behind that, and it's not because you want to do it this way because it was done 40 years ago. No, there's really a sequence and a follow that you bring to the sequence of each panelist's answers being revealed. You got some more scrapes and bruises, but you can. I know they can do it. Doesn't take much.
Right, and they have semi-regulars on Match Game. Like you see Jack McBrayer, Titus Burgess, Jane Krakowski, I think is her name.
Yeah, I mean Jack is the one I really associate with this version of Max Payne the most. If you ask me to name anybody off the top of my head, so
Hmm. But they don't have regulars. And I don't know if that's a directive from the new producers or Alec, who's actually also a producer. But if I'm Alec, I kind of push for some regulars. I don't
I
think
just
you're able to get Titus every year, but you could definitely get Jack.
yeah, definitely. I just wonder if that's just the nature of today's world though, because you consider when really in the '70s there weren't as many options, there weren't as many shows for people or opportunities to go on because now we have the internet, we have all these medias that people can be on and do their own platform. And back then, obviously, you didn't have as much, so you could be kind of associated with a singular show. Now you can't really do that. Like no matter what you're doing, you have to have a crossover. You have to have something that builds to the greater outside world. Otherwise, why would they consider this like the primetime game show package, right? I mean, Max Game
Yeah.
considers itself to $100,000 pyramid, and for good reason. And Celebrity Family Feud too. So
Hmm. Another thing that they added, I think they added it late last year, was the monitor match. Now, it still plays out like the same question, but there's a visual element to help better illustrate the question.
I'm fine with that. It kind of reminds me, if anything, of the Toon Blast in the latest Quiplash version, basically on Jackbox games, where you have a tune, but you have to fill out the caption that way. I mean that's fine. Like sometimes questions can be difficult to visualize, or you never know. Like I mean, some people are auditory learners and some people are visual learners. Like why not adapt for everything? And hey, it's a harmless little innovation that actually might lead to better content from contestant and celebrity alike. What's not to like about that?
Right, and I'm down with that 100%. If it makes for a better show, then by all accounts, do it. Also, to add, it's a minor upgrade, but they did upgrade the monitors, so to speak, where the graphic package looks a lot cleaner.
I mean, we saw that with Pyramid from seasons 1 to 2 as well. And it's obviously a nice thing for the viewers to see a visual package. Probably most people won't care about that, but it's ideal to have because if you just want to like take a quick look, if you're like browsing through the channels, perhaps watching it for the first time, or if like you have to walk away, like you're getting a snack or whatever, it's nice to be able to see that very clearly for any level of anyone who's interested in watching any given show. So anytime set stuff like that is cleaned up a little, I appreciate it personally because I I like to binge read and watch my shows at the same time. So
Well, that's pretty much all we could say about Match Game. I mean, it's still a great show. Alec's great. The questions are great. The panelists are great. It's just great.
Absolutely. I think they, as I've said before, they've done a very tremendous job. And the small things they could fix are really not going to deter my enjoyment of it or anybody's. It's just me trying to think of any possible angle of things that might need improvement. Because, I mean, if I'm going to think about every aspect of a show, I'm going to try to think about every aspect of a show. I'm going to try to be that completionist out there?
Hmm. And that's not a bad thing to be. So, for Match Game, Mazel Tov. May you
And
last a long time.
that's a match. Hey, we did it.
Yay! Well, that's gonna do it for this yearly checkup. Go see the secretary outside, get yourself a lollipop, and we're all done here. So for the good Dr. Jessica Brand, I'm Cindy Seidelman. We'll see you next time here at the GSG Ward for the yearly checkup.